r/nosleep. Posted BYU South I-1234. Do not go to a place named Now Here. If you do, don't commence trade of any sorts.
If you happen to come across anywhere named Now Here, don't take a step further. I can't really describe the place, I'm not even sure if it is one place at all. It came to me as a series of places. Sometimes I got to turn around and walk away, but more often than not, I had no choice but to enter. This might be a bit confusing, so let me tell you about my encounters. The first time, Now Here presented itself as a subway station. I remember it being a Sunday. While I was on my way to meet a friend, I fell asleep on the subway. I must have slept for a really long time because when I woke up, all the other passengers have gone, and the sign outside reads Now Here. Now Here. It was as though the station itself is urging me to get off. And I did. It was until the train drove away that I realized I shouldn't have gotten off and that I don't remember there being a station named Now Here anywhere on Earth. All I could think about was how my friend was going to kill me when he finds out I stood him up, so I texted him, and to no surprise at all, got a very furious reply demanding that I pay for the next movie we go to. Fair. So the next thing I had in mind was to go home from whatever place this was. I could see that there were tracks going the opposite direction, so all I had to do was to go to the opposite platform and take the next train. There were no other people there, but the station didn't feel empty. I actually didn't find it weird until now. I think there were always distant, ambient noises of people there, walking around, chatting about the weather, all sorts of normal stuff. To me, it just felt like a perfectly normal station at that point. I walked down the stairs and started making my way across. It occurred to me that I couldn't really make out where the edges of the station were. To be exact, the station seemed to stretch into darkness in every direction. And then I noticed a vending machine under the flickering lights, right next to the stairs seemingly leading to the opposite platform. As I saw the vending machine, I started to realize how thirsty I was. After all, I did sleep for quite a while. I would do anything for a cup of ice-cold lemonade, I thought. As I approached, I saw that every single item in the vending machine was lemonade, cans and cans of lemonade. It all looked very appealing, so I reached into my pocket for some change. To my disappointment, I had none. Then, I noticed the item on the bottom left corner. Instead of the lemonade every other slot held, it just labeled 10 quarters, and the price was 3 Drs. I must have been extremely thirsty because I punched the button without giving a second thought, and got nothing. The machine didn't even beep. Feeling cheated, I punched the button again. This time, I felt weight in my pocket as soon as I hit the button. I reached in, and you could probably guess, I found quarters. It totally freaked me out. I didn't even use the money to buy lemonade. I ran up the stairs to the opposite platform as fast as I possibly could have. The platform was darker than I imagined. There, surprisingly, was a girl. She sat on a bench, looking extremely bored. With both of her hands, she held a lit candle. She looked no more than 12, but her outfit was very oversized and very formal. It's like she stole it from a corporate manager. One of her eyebrows raised when she saw me coming up from the stairs. "Go get yours." She nodded towards an empty newsstand when she saw me staring at the candle. It turned out the newsstand wasn't completely empty, it was filled with dozens of lit candles, but you have to actually focus your vision on the newsstand to see that there is candlelight coming out from it. 25 cents each, said a sign. Seeing that there was no one to collect my money, I simply put it on the counter and took a candle, hoping with all my heart that this is how this works. "So, you must be new here," said the girl, as I sat down on a bench next to hers. "Just wait for your ride and don't let the candle go out." "Don't worry, it won't unless you want it to." I thought about what she said. "So, what did you buy?" she asked. "There was a vending machine with lemonades in it, but..." "Lemonades?" she said with a laugh. "Of everything, yours is lemonades." "I didn't buy it, I got these quarters from it instead." Her eyes seemed to widen as she heard this. "For how much?" she asked. "What? For how much?" "I didn't really pay for it, I just pressed the button for it and..." "On the price tag, what was on the price tag?" She must have meant the 3 Drs I saw labeled there, so that's what I told her. "That was a good bargain, that was a really good bargain," she murmured. Then a train came into the station. For some reason, I knew that this was my train. "Wait," she said with a raised voice. "Do you have time to buy more quarters before the train leaves?" "No." Again, I knew that I didn't. "No," I replied. In that case, don't miss your ride. Remember, any price below a month for 10 is worth dealing. Off you go. I stepped onto the train. Immediately, I woke up in the station near my home. I didn't know this at first because the first thing that came into my eyes was my sister, who shares an apartment with me. She was shaking me so hard I thought my head would come off. According to her, the friend I was supposed to meet got worried when I was an hour late and completely off the grid, not answering calls or texts, so she started looking for me. And, for the entire afternoon, I was nowhere to be found and thought to have fled the country. Aside from my sister's assumption that I would one day flee the country for murdering my boss during work, I completely vanished for some 6 hours, and then just casually turned out to be asleep on a bench in the subway station. So that was my first visit to Now Here. If you do come across such a place, do not enter, do not buy. No matter what it offers you. It does have some really good offers to put up. But you would want to save your quarters for the ride back, because I haven't seen another deal that costs less than half a year for a long time, and I am running out of quarters.